So we started learning about data structures. We learned about list and tuple. The next one is, let's see, string data structure. Okay. So we covered about tuple properties and how to extract the elements of a tuple. And if you want to deep dive more, you can go to the official documentation. This is from docs.python.org. And if you go to data structures, you can see tuple and sequences, right? So you can go here and then try to learn more depending on your requirement. Okay. Now let's see the next data structure, which is nothing but string. Okay. So how can we create a string? For example, let's say this is a string variable and we are assigning the value. I am an animal and while I can talk, I also roar, right? So you can specify the string either in double quotes or in single quotes. Both will work. Okay. Now, once we create a string, let's see how we can extract the elements of the string. So we have to specify the string variable of, here we have to specify the index value, that is 0 to 4. So it will retrieve the characters from 0 to 3, right? So 0 space is also considered as a character. So 0, 1, 2 and 3. So that should give us I am, right? So now let's select this cell and run the code. So now you can see it is printing I am, right? So this is how you can extract the elements from a string by specifying the index value. Okay. Now let's try to use the negative index, that is -5. So negative index means from right to left. Positive index means from left to right. So the starting index is -5, right? So this is -1, -2, -3, -4 and -5. So it should start from -5, and here we did not specify end index. So that will give us all the way to the end of the string, right? So let's run this code. So now you can see we are able to get the value from this string from the index value of -5 to all the way to the end, right? Now let's see one other example. Roar underscore string of, here we did not specify any starting index. Remember, if you do not specify any start index, it will consider from the 0th index. Okay. So from the 0th index, we want to print until -5. So we know this is -5, right? So it will print from the starting to all the way till here, right? So now let's run this code. So now you can see from the starting index, that is 0th to all the way to the space, right? Now let's try to use the step value also. So starting index is, we did not specify anything, so it will consider from the 0th index, and end index is, we did not specify anything, so it will treat all the way to the end, and the step value is positive. So that means left to right, print all the values, right? So let's run this code. So now you can see it is printing all the way from the 0th index to the end of the string, right? Now what if we give step value -1? So -1 means right to left. So this will print in the reverse order. Okay. So let's run this code. So now you can see we are able to reverse the string by giving the negative step value. Okay. Now let's try to join the string. If you want to join one string to another string, we can use the concatenation operator, that is plus. So this plus is considered as the concatenation operator, that is to join two strings. So the first string is this value. So we already calculated here. It is printing from here to here, and we are trying to concatenate roar to this string, right? So let's run this code. So now you can see this is what we have till here, and then now we added roar to this string by using this plus, which is nothing but the concatenation operator. By using that, we can join two different strings, right? Now let's see different string functions. Okay. Now let's create a string as roar string, and this is the value we are assigning. So let's run this code. Now let's say if you want to capitalize the first letter of the string and all other characters in lowercase, Then we have a function called capitalize. So by using this capitalize function, we can capitalize the first letter of the string and all other letters are in lowercase, right? So if your requirement is to capitalize the first letter of the string, then you can use this capitalize function. Okay. Now let's say if you want to find the index of a string. For example, let's say if you want to calculate the index of this string rar from this entire string, then you can use a function called find and pass this string, right? So this will give you the index value of this string rar from this entire string, right? So now let's run this code. So now you can see it is at the index 45. So this R starts from index 45. Okay. Now let me add this comment here. To return the index of a string, you can use the find function from string, right? Now let's say if your requirement is to check whether the string is alphabet or not, right? So we have a function called isAlpha. So by using that, you can check if this string is alphabet or not. So if you run this, it is returning false. So that means we have the punctuation mark here, right? So that is why it is returning false. So by using isAlpha function, we can check if the string is alphabet or not, right? Now let's create another string ABC and BBC. Okay. Now let's say if you want to swap the case, that is from uppercase to lowercase and lowercase to uppercase, then we have a function called swap case. So if you run this code, so now you can see we are able to convert from uppercase to lowercase and lowercase to uppercase, right? So to swap the case, we can use swap case function. Okay. Now let's say if you want to check if the string starts with ABC, then we have a function called starts with and we are passing ABC, and here we are giving the start and end index value. So here we are telling 0 to 3, is this string starting with ABC or not? So that is what we are trying to get. So it is returning true, right? So this starts with, the signature is you have to provide the string value and what is the starting index and what is the ending index. Then it will check if the string starts with ABC at the index 0 to 3, right? Now let's say the string ABC starts at the index 5 to 8, right? Which is not correct. So this is returning false because it is starting from 0 to 3, right? Similarly, we have ends with function as well. So we are checking the string ends with BBC or not, which is correct, right? So now let's select this cell and run the code. So now you can see it is true, right? So the signature here is we have to provide the value and start and end index. These are optional, right? Now let's see if your requirement is to check if this string is alphanumeric or not, right? So let's take the same string again. So what do we have here? This is our string. Now if your requirement is to check if this string is alphanumeric or not, then we have a function called isAlphanumeric, right? So now let's run this code. So now you can see it is returning false because we have the punctuation mark at the end of the string, right? So that is why it is returning false. So by using this isAlphanumeric function, we can check if the string is alphanumeric or not, right? Now let's say if your requirement is to check if the string is numeric, then we have a function called isDigit. So by using this, we can check if this string is numeric or not, right? So let's run this code. So now you know it is returning false because it is not numeric, right? Now let's say if your requirement is to find the length of the string, then we have a function called len and we have to pass the string. So now you can see it is returning 50 characters, right? So that is how you can find the length of the string. Okay. Now let's say if you want to replace this animal with some other string. Okay. We have a function called replace. So from this string, we are trying to replace animal with a lion by using this replace function. Okay. So let's run this code. So now you can see we are able to replace from animal with a lion by using this replace function. Now let's create the string by adding trailing spaces. So let's run this code, and now let's see what we have inside this string. So now you can see we added trailing white space. Now let's see if you want to strip away all these trailing white spaces. Then we have a function called strip. By using this, you can strip all the trailing white spaces. Okay. So this strip function is used to strip away all the trailing white spaces. Now let's say if you want to split this string, wherever you see comma, that is where we want to split the string, right? So we have comma here. So 1, 2, and 3, right? So it should split as 3 strings. So now let's run this code. So now you can see it is returning list of 3 strings. It is splitting by comma. Wherever it says comma, it is trying to split there, right? So let's create another string. Hello, this is great, right? So we are giving the space here. Okay, now let's run this code, and now let's use the split function, and let's try to split by space, right? So let's run this code. So now you can see it is returning list of these 4 strings. It is splitting by space. So if you do not specify anything inside this argument, then it will split by white spaces, right? Now let's say if your requirement is to join list of strings. For example, let's say you are trying to join this list of strings with this string, then you can use the function called join. So let's run this code. So now you can see we are able to join this list of strings with this string, right? So using join function, you can join the list of strings. Now let's say if your requirement is to pad the string with zeros from the left, then we have a function called zfill. So here we are specifying 5. So that means pad this A with 4 zeros, right, from the left, because it is positive index, right? So if you run this code, so now you can see it is padding this element A with 4 zeros, right? So these are different string functions, and if you want to explore more, you can go to the official Python documentation, that is python.org, and then you can deep dive more. Okay, so what we learned in this lecture, we understood how to create a string and then how to retrieve the elements from a string either by positive index or negative index, and we also learned how to provide the step value, positive step and negative step, and then we saw how to join strings by using this plus, which is nothing but the concatenation operator. And then we saw different string functions. Capitalize is to capitalize the first letter of the string, and then find is used to find the index value of a string from this string, and then is alpha function is used to check if the string is alphabet or not, and then swap case is to swap from uppercase to lowercase and vice versa, and starts with function is used to check if the string starts with this value or not. Similarly, we have ends with, and if you want to know if the string is alphanumeric or not, we have a function called is alphanumeric, and isDigit is used to check if the string is numeric, and length function is used to check the length of the string, and replace function is used to replace the string with another string. And we also saw how to strip away this trailing white spaces, and we saw how to split a string, and then we saw how to join list of strings by using this join function, and we also saw how to pad a string with zeros by using this zfill function. And you can explore more depending on your requirement by going to the official documentation. That's all about strings. Thank you.